It's another steamy night along the mighty banks of the Ohio. We welcome you to downtown Cincinnati. Big crowd on hand for this Saturday night collision between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh and Jim Day, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. We talked last night about the way the season is progressing for Jose Peraza. And Chris, he's in the lineup again tonight playing second base, and it's nice to see that things are starting to come around for him again.
You know, I think he's lost his confidence early in the year, Tom. For 2 consecutive years, he had a starting position, and then he lost that starting position. He's relegated to the bench. Didn't get a lot of playing time, but when you start playing him lately, he's making a lot of contact. That's the first thing you notice about Peraza. The second thing is that he loves the ball on the inside part of the plate, and he hits the ball with power there. He had some very big hits in Denver, came through with a big hit in Chicago, and he's hitting the ball very well so far in this series.
Reds have dropped the first 2 games in heartbreaking fashion, as you probably know, in this series, including the 7-0 loss last night. So when you're trying to end a losing streak, who better to hand the ball to this year than Luis Castillo?
Oh, baseball momentum. That's your starting pitcher, and no better momentum right now than Castillo and that changeup of his. He came off a great outing right before the All-Star break. Had a little bit of a hiccup there in Chicago in his last outing, but still struck out 10 batters. Very capable, a guy that is very tough to handle with a high fastball, low changeup combination. Hopefully he'll be on his game tonight.
Castillo clearly is a stuff guy. Don't know if that's necessarily the case for the Cardinals starter tonight in Miles Mikolas, but he finds a way to win games.
Well, you know, I think you define stuff sometimes in different manners, and for Mikolas, it's all about command. I mean, he doesn't walk anybody. That's his stuff, and that's his game plan, is that he's not going to strike out a lot of batters. He's going to pitch at contact. He's basically a 2 or 3 pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, curve, but he's got great command of each of those, and he's coming off the best outing he's ever had here in 2019. A complete game against the Pirates, gave up 8 hits, did it very efficient fashion. Let's hope we don't get that version of Miles Mikolas.
All right, so when we come back, we'll check in along the Reds dugout with the main man on the Reds beat. I mean, guys come and go. And Jim Day's dialed in down there with Ryan LaVarnway and his Reds debut last night. JD, next.
Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Cincinnati Children's Hospital, changing the outcome together. By Furniture Fair, for style and flair, choose Furniture Fair. And by Skyline Chili, feeling good, it's Skyline time.
All right, we're ready for another hot night. Another night with the Cardinals, and another night where the temperatures at the first pitch are going to be around 90 degrees. Meteorologist Paul Poteet from Local 12 with the hot numbers for you. The heat index will be into the 90s at the start of the game, and probably by the end of the game will still be around 90. But again, as was the case last night, we're not worried about any rain or thunderstorms. We will have that chance tomorrow. In the meantime, enjoy the game tonight.
What a whirlwind 24 hours it was a day ago for Ryan LaVarnway. He goes from being a AAA catcher in the Yankees organization to the Yankees not standing in the way of the Reds signing him to a major league deal, right into the starting lineup and right into the record books. Ryan LaVarnway, our IGS bringing the energy, had it going on at the plate last night. Unfortunately, it came in a loss, but his first time up, an RBI double. 4th major league player since 1920 with 3 or more hits, 2 or more home runs, and 6 or more RBIs in a debut for any team. And the only Red to make a debut with 6 RBIs since RBI came a stat in 1920. You better believe he stopped to smell the roses.
I was just enjoying it. I've been up and down so many times, you never know when it's going to be the last time. And early in my career, I didn't let myself really enjoy the highs. I tried to be stoic. I tried to be Jason Varitek. But I'm a human being, and I just really enjoyed it tonight. I had a lot of fun.
And it was fun to watch. We would love to watch a W tonight. Reds need one. Luis Castillo goes to the hill tonight, trying to right the ship for Cincinnati. Reds and Cardinals on deck here on Fox Sports Ohio.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
26-year-old first-time All-Star in 2019. Luis Castillo making his way to the pitcher's mound here at Great American Ballpark in front of a big crowd tonight. This will be the 20th start of the year for Castillo. The numbers are sensational. And he was on top of his game the one inning he pitched in the All-Star game.
Well, he did. He was also on top of his game the start before the game, and he was pretty much on top of his game his last start against the Cubs. He's been most on top of his game, however, his last 4 against the Cardinals. 2-0 with a 1.5 earned run average. He's had 23 innings pitched in those games, and he struck out 26. Reds have won all 4 of his last starts versus the Redbirds, so hope this tonight will be a continuation of that trend.
Take a look at the Cardinals lineup presented by Furniture Fair. Edman, Martinez, and Goldschmidt. O'Neill, Fowler, and Wong. DeYoung, Wieters back behind the plate. And Miles Michaelis on the mound. So here we go. Edman, the hero for the Cardinals in Game 1 with a grand slam. Proved to be the game-winning hit. He looks at a strike, says home plate umpire and crew chief Angel Hernandez. And
we've not seen these baby blue Cardinal uniforms for a while.
Yeah, been a long time. I used to wear these back in the 1980s and early 1990s when they would go on the road. Saw a lot of those in the postseason many, many years ago, when they had Willie McGee and Vince Coleman and Tommy Herr and right on down the line. Pedro Guerrero. Served into center field on a 0-2 pitch, and that's the way it starts for Edman and the Redbirds.
You know, you talk to the people that surround the Cardinal ball club, and they really like Tommy Edman. You know, he makes a nice adjustment right here. Look at that pitch. I mean, that is a classic changeup from Castillo that normally he gets a swing and a miss. But, you know, Edman probably has watched the tape. He gets a scanner report, but he also is able to make the adjustment to hang back and just punch that ball into center field on an 0-2 pitch.
Here's Jose Martinez. He delivered one of the crushing blows in the game here last night. Part of that 10-run St. Louis 6th inning to rally back from 7-0 down. First time in 15 years. Strangely enough, the last time they did it was against the Reds, but the first time in 15 years where the Cardinals came back from down 7 runs in a game to win. Swing and a miss, and just like the first batter, Castillo quickly ahead, 0-2.
You know, Castillo always has to keep in mind, and maybe Gratterall can remind him, but this time of year, right now, in this beginning of the ball game, it is so very difficult to pick up the ball out of a pitcher's hand. Especially the spin of the ball, which would really set up his slider here against Martinez.
Edman with 4 stolen bases in his first 28 games with the big league club. He's not been thrown out. And it remains 0-2 on the batter Jose Martinez. Scoreboard says 1-2, but our Fox box has it 0-2. And I'm sure they'll get that straightened out up on the big board. 12-11 the final last night. Reds had a chance there in the bottom of the 9th inning, as gone swinging is Martinez for the first out in the first inning. But with a tying run at third and the winning run at first, Martinez got Joey Votto on a ground ball.
Well, he decided to go with the changeup down and away. Martinez, big swing and a big miss.
Reds had 18 hits in that game last night, score 11 runs, and come up short, suffering their 20th one-run loss of this season. That is significant because it's the most one-run losses among all teams in Major League Baseball this year. 20 of them. Here's Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt struck out 4 times swinging in the series opener. Last night had 2 infield hits and knocked in a run with a sac fly in the 10-run 6th inning. Long-time Arizona standout, an all-star game regular for the D-backs for Goldschmidt. Double play ball all the way here. And that's all for the Redbirds in the opening inning. Reds are coming up. No score. Trying to stay cool here at Great American Ballpark on this Saturday night. Not a cloud in the sky and temperatures in the mid-90s. Understand the temperatures will drop dramatically throughout the entire heartland of America beginning tomorrow night. And Monday is supposed to be a beautiful week. Temperatures in the very low 80s. In fact, it's going to be in the 70s when the Reds are in Milwaukee starting on Monday. Let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup presented by Furniture Fair. Winker, Votto, Suarez, Puig, VanMeter, a rare start, and Peraza. A latter third to be Iglesias, Gratterall back in there. Lavarnway, despite knocking in 6 runs and hitting 2 home runs, was on base 4 times, is sitting down tonight. All one to Jesse Winker. Winker was on base 3 times, had a couple of hits and a walk, had a 2-run single in that 9th inning when the Reds closed within a run. But was left at first base representing the winning run on the bounce out by Votto to Goldschmidt. 2-0 on Winker, and Miles Michaelis delivers, fouled away. 2-1 to Jesse Winker.
You know, we saw Michaelis a couple of times back in April. Once down in Mexico when the Reds were down in Monterey, and the other time in St. Louis. And he really was not on top of his game at all back then. But he's tightened it up quite a bit. He's a guy that relies on pinpoint accuracy with his pitches. Fastball, curveball, and slider are his main pitches. Rarely a changeup for Michaelis.
So he just has 17 walks in 108 innings.
That really puts him in very rare company. When you think about 17 walks and over the course of the year, how many starts he's had. He's one of the few pitchers in baseball that has had more starts than walks. And that is a pitching coach's dream. And as soon as we say that, he walks Jesse Winker. But there are 6 of them on the list here. Michaelis is right here. Ryu, Greinke, Michael Pineda. I'm surprised about that. Walker Buehler and Mike Leake, who had a great game last night.
That carried a perfect game into the 9th inning last night before being broken up on a base hit.
All of those fewer walks than starts.
Here's Joey Votto. He looks at strike 1. Votto, 2 hits, scored a run, knocked in a run, was on base 3 times last night. He's knocked in runs in back-to-back games as Votto. 0-1 to Joey. And a bouncer, fair ball, there's one. And Winker will be tagged out, and that's a double play.
And each team now in the first frame has hit into a double play. 6-4-3 conventional one, and then the tag play by DeYoung puts Winker away.
Two away for Suarez. He had a quick night last night. I mean, it took almost 4 hours to play 9 innings here last night. Suarez was only around for 1 inning and 1 at bat. Off the end of the bat, that'll drop in there, a base hit in front of Martinez. Suarez thrown out of the game. Let's take a look at St. Louis defensively, presented by Ford. It's the same group we've seen every game of the series. Weeder's back in there behind the plate after giving way to Kisner in game 2. Now Yasiel Puig. 22 home runs, 58 knocked in. Puig had 2 hits with an RBI in the game here last night. Puig has now 15 multi-hit games in the past 31. And during that stretch has been a .371 batter over the last month. He's been among the best offensive players in the league for really about a month and a half now.
Yeah, and I think he's actually even hit the ball harder than his batting average would show. I mean, he has squared up a lot of pitches.
That one's down the right field line, and Martinez will watch it drift out of play. I mean, look at those numbers in July after an outstanding June.
Now, what Puig has done, and what he's done really throughout the course of his career, is hit mistake pitches from pitchers. I mean, if you get a thigh-high inner third, there's a really good chance he's going to hit it very, very hard somewhere, more likely out of the ballpark than anywhere. Michaelis is a guy that relies on control and accuracy. So we'll see if he can pitch to the scouting report and if we can adjust.
Not quite a sellout here tonight, but not too far off from one. There are a lot of bodies in the seats on this Saturday night. Suarez has only attempted 3 steals all year long, and he's 1 of 3 on the success rate. What a beautiful night. Yes, it is warm. There's no 2 ways about that. One and 2. Cubs won again today, and for a second straight day, it was a 6-5 decision over the San Diego Padres. Reds are 9 back and 9 games under 500. The Cardinals moved to 3 games or 4 games over 500 and actually moved from 3rd place into 2nd place with their victory last night, coupled with a loss by the Milwaukee Brewers to the Diamondbacks. Gone swinging is Yasiel Puig, and gone are the Reds in the opening inning. No score, end of 1. Reds baseball always live with MLB at Bat. Download the MLB at Bat today. It's your #1 app for the Cincinnati Reds. Scoreless game. We're set to begin the 2nd inning. And Tyler O'Neill, the St. Louis left fielder, to lead things off, and quickly behind Luis Castillo, a swing and a miss, strike 1. O'Neill a hit streak now of 7 straight games. And for him, that is a new career high. Put up some pretty good numbers in a short amount of time.
Well, O'Neill is simply on fire. We showed you the stats right there that he's had since the All-Star break. He's the only player in baseball to have 4 home runs, at least 12 runs batted in, and a 400-plus batting average. And you just have to make him reach. Got great speed on the inner part of the plate, not so much on the outer part. Popeye.
He looks like it, doesn't it? Knocking down that spinach.
I eat spinach that don't look like that.
Well, you used to.
No, but I used to swing and miss like that. And Castillo says, I know your strength. It doesn't matter. I'm coming right in there.
Get on back to olive oil for a little while.
I apply a little olive oil on the baseball now. About as close as that came.
Here's Dexter Fowler.
Dexter Fowler going with the complete baby blue colored outfit all the way down to the shoes.
Yeah, those are sweet.
That's looking good, too.
Yeah, he's looking good, no doubt. Yeah, they got a couple of them that are sporting those baby blue shoes tonight. In the on-deck circle, Colton Wong. Paul DeYoung. Look at those.
Fancy.
Yeah, really fancy. Well, I wonder what those are on there.
Looks like little fishes to me.
Yeah, something like that. Or, yeah, it's exactly right. Look at that.
And that would make sense. Colton Wong from Hawaii.
Right. Two and two on Fowler. Winker went sprinting from right center into slight left center just as Castillo was going into the windup of that 2-2 pitch. Of course, all the Reds outfielders, they have those cards they're given before the game on where they want outfielders positioned, and positioned perfectly on that sharp ground ball is Iglesias, the shortstop, to throw out Fowler. 2 down. And we look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. VanMeter to start out at left field. He's been swinging a good bat. And Peraza for Scooter Gennett tonight at second base. And Gratterall, I think a lot of people were really surprised. It's not second guessing or third guessing or anything else, but when you have a guy that gets 3 hits and gets on base 4 times and knocks in 6 runs in a game, I think a lot of people sort of were caught off guard that LaVarnway was not back in there tonight. Perhaps it had something to do with the pitcher on the mound here today, Castillo, but hang with him, I guess. Reds made a flurry of roster moves again today. And we're going to check in a little bit later with Jim Day about some of those, because we've been talking a great deal going back to when the injury originally occurred with Amir Garrett. We told you last night that he was prepared to get on a plane, and flight got delayed, making his way to Pennsylvania. And so they just brought him back from the airport rather than, flying all the way there, and you can't pitch in a game because you weren't going to make it for the game. And so he is back tonight. But that's not all. We'll get updated from Jim Day here shortly. Two and two on Colton Wong. And another ground ball. And again, that's the shortstop, Iglesias, and a perfect second inning for Luis.
Has made some roster moves. Raisel Iglesias returns from the 3-day paternity list. And Amir Garrett was indeed reinstated from the 10-day IL today. To make room, Jimmy Herget was optioned back to AAA Louisville, as well as Matt Bowman optioned to AAA Louisville. The Reds had considered optioning a position player, but the guy that's standing in the batter's box right now, VanMeter, David Bell really wants to see this guy get some more at-bats and some starts, so they decided to keep the bench intact. As far as Amir Garrett goes, as you said, he did not make it to Pennsylvania yesterday, and David Bell was honest and said it's an urgent time. They need Amir Garrett right now, so no rehab start. They think he's ready to go, and they just decided to activate him today rather than send him on to Pennsylvania.
Line into center field, and that's what you talked about. They wanted to get VanMeter some swings. He's been making solid contact whenever he gets a chance to come up there. And a base hit to begin the inning.
You know, every scout that you talk to about Josh VanMeter will tell you the same thing. The guy is an offense-forward player. He can hit and hit at this level. The question is, where is his position? And even more of a question is, where is his position on this Reds ball club? Reds are playing him in left field tonight. The infield seems to be pretty occupied. But if you swing the bat like that, you're going to find somewhere.
And, you know, you mentioned Jim Day as Jose Peraza steps in, among the hottest hitters in this Reds lineup right now. He looks at a strike. I assume everything hopefully went well with Raisel Iglesias away on paternity break.
Was unable to talk to Raisel. I guess, I'm imagining yes.
I hope so.
I guess so. By the way, Nick Senzel went through the rigors before the game today. He is cleared to play off the bench and expect him in the starting lineup tomorrow.
Hey, one other guy I wanted to ask you about, too. Tyler Mahle. Last night left the game. It looked like he was noticeably limping walking off the mound. What's his status, if any?
Left hamstring. They're calling it a tightness in the hamstring. Right now, they don't think it's an IL situation, but if it is, they do have Lucas Sims that is in the bullpen right now, and if Tyler has to go on the injured list, you have Sims that could make starts, and you've got Alex Wood maybe one, maybe two rehab starts away from returning to the bait, or not returning, making his Reds debut.
Yeah, and I know you've been following all the way back to spring training, the continued, all the therapy and all the hard work of Alex Blandino. He hit a home run in the game last night. This will be the second double play the Reds have bounced into, and the third we've seen so far in the game. So, Jim, did he hit a home run in the game last night, I think?
He did. Solo home run.
Thank you. Did you have something else to add, Jim?
Tucker Barnhart today was working out, and talked to him as well. He went through, did everything. Caught on the field, hit on the field, ran on the field, as you just saw. He's cleared, and if all goes well, he will start a rehab stint with Louisville on Thursday.
Okay, well, Jim, we can't thank you enough for being all over everything going on down there, and all the work before games, during games, after games, late at night you're putting in. No score, we go to the third. Here on the Redlegs, they take on the Pirates Wednesday, July the 31st. It's your chance to play Showdown, the DraftKings single-game fantasy baseball contest. Visit DraftKings.com for details. Eligibility restrictions do apply. DraftKings. All right, here we go in the St. Louis third inning. No score in the game. Luis Castillo against Paul DeYoung. Castillo allowed a single to the first batter of the game, Edman, on an 0-2 pitch. A little flare into center field on a pitch down and away from him. And he's retired 5 in a row, recording 6 outs since then. Got one double play to end the first inning. Fastball is in there on a 2-0 pitch, a called strike. Oh dear. Shattered back And Peraza throws out DeYoung.
So far, it looks like the Reds shift defensively anyway are just working to perfection. They've had a couple of balls hit to the shortstop on the second side of the bag. Here's the second baseman, Peraza, right behind the pitching mound. And second base, and makes that ball up the middle nice and easy.
Catcher Matt Wieters looks at ball one. Wieters playing regularly since the injury to Yadier Molina. Swing and a miss, and we documented the first 2 games of this series. The important pieces out of this Cardinal lineup right now. Ozuna having a really good year offensively, dangerous hitter. You know all about Molina. Matt Carpenter just went on the injured list, although he was not playing well at all, but it's still Matt Carpenter. Been a regular player and a good player for a long time. But the skipper just plays who's out there, and they're managing to play to the tune of 3 games better than 500.
Well, they've got to be happy already. In a 4-game series, you come in here and you win the first 2 games, so no matter what happens, you come out of here with a split. So you're playing with house money right now if you're the Cardinals. Although if you're trying to catch teams ahead of you and those teams keep winning, then you've got to keep winning.
And we mentioned earlier, Cubs have already won. Well, the Brewers have really fallen on hard times here lately. (3-2) on Wieters. Short right field, Peraza. Coming up later on. We'll have our whole true moment brought to you by Miller Lite.
You know what you're seeing tonight with Luis Castillo is exactly a reason why he is so much better this year than last year. You got a lot of strikeouts last year. Actually, his strikeouts are up slightly, almost 10% more this year than last year. More swings and misses. But what he's getting now are ground balls, and a ton more than last year.
Votto feeds Castillo on the one-hopper off the bat of Michaelis. And once again, a perfect inning, 8 in a row, set down by Luis Castillo.
Saturday night battle between the Reds and Cardinals here on Fox Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day. Let's welcome in a very, very special guest. He is the CEO of Cincinnati Children's Hospital. He's Michael Fisher, and we're so proud of what everything at Cincinnati Children's does. You got a special weekend going on here. Tell us what's been going on.
So we got an amazing weekend. Over the course of the 3 days, we will have 30,000 Cincinnati Children's employees and their family and friends here to celebrate the 150th anniversary of our great Cincinnati Reds. So we're excited to be here.
Employee Appreciation Weekend, and I love that. And you've seen so many successes in your near 10-year tenure as a CEO. How much pride do you have? Because when you look up the statistics or the polls or whatever, Cincinnati Children's Hospital, not only one of the top pediatric hospitals in America, but the world.
You know, it's an incredible institution, but what we're always most grateful for is the trust and relationship we have with our families and the patients and the kids themselves, and certainly our community of Cincinnati. So we're really grateful for that, Jim.
Well, ingrained in the community, and I'm not sure, there might not be very many people in the tri-state area or Cincinnati that don't have some story or some connection with Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
You know, I think we all have a connection, whether it's patient care from, the everyday kind of thing like asthma to bone marrow transplant, but also the research from the polio vaccine and so many other discoveries that have really changed healthcare for the world and especially for kids.
Well, you know that it starts with people, and your employees, over 30,000 enjoying this weekend at Great American Ballpark. You got to be proud of the care that each and every one of them has provided.
We love our employees. They are so dedicated. They're so talented. They work together as a team, and they're here for the kids in the community. That's what it's all about.
Well, it's been over a 10-year partnership with Cincinnati Children's Hospital and Fox Sports Ohio. We're proud to call you a partner, and you make this region, Cincinnati, very, very proud. Congratulations on everything that you and your employees do.
Thanks so much, Jim. And we love our partnership with the Reds, the Community Fund, and doing great things for this region.
All right, gentlemen, Michael Fisher, proud guy up here, and we sing the praises of Cincinnati Children's, and boy, it is legit praise.
And, we sing the praises as well of the Fisher family. It's a remarkable family spanning generations here in greater Cincinnati, and all the incredible work they've done. Not just Michael, but his parents, his grandparents, his brothers, his entire family. He is the best. And recently a cancer survivor himself, Michael Fisher. And thank God for that. One down in the inning, and here's Luis Castillo. No score in the game. We're in the bottom half of the third inning.
A lot of strikes being thrown by both these pitchers tonight. I mean, coming right after the hitters, getting a lot of easy outs. Castillo's had 5 consecutive ground outs, and Miles Michaelis is having kind of an easy time of it as well. How about that reaction by Castillo? He's thinking, hey, I need that pitch.
Probably thinking the same thing on that one. Second strikeout for Michaelis, and the first 2 retired in the third inning. Elkin Elk storyline. Jesse Winker, as this season has gone on, Chris Welsh, from a batting average standpoint and an on-base percentage standpoint, month by month. There's a lot going on there, but the bottom line is the red continues to go up. That's a batting average. The on-base percentage continues to go up. Well, or even basically through June and July, but a big leap from April and May.
Is that like blue states and red states right there? Batting average and OBP?
Yep. That's it.
Man, I really don't understand it.
You're not alone. Winker walked, leading off the last of the first inning. Reds have 2 hits, St. Louis with 1. And Winker sends it down the third baseline out of play. Final game of the series, a 1:10 start tomorrow, will be Jack Flaherty for St. Louis, a right-hander, Anthony DeSclafani for the Redlegs. And then a quick 3-game road trip, and the Reds return right back here to Great American Ballpark. They'll go to Milwaukee Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. And Winker knew that was strike 3. He wasn't taking off for first base as though that was going to be a walk. And of 3, no score. Reds and the Rockies save thanks to Mike's Car Wash. You buy 4 view-level tickets, get 4 Reds hats for only $48. Reds.com/4 for $48. And why not come out to the Reds Live set tomorrow? We call it Sign Sunday. You bring your sign, or if you don't have one, you can make one right here at the ballpark. And you might be part of Reds Live. That goes on the air tomorrow at 12:30. The only Cardinal base runner, the man who digs in now, led off the game. Fell behind 0-2 and change up down and away about shin high off the outside corner. He looped, did Tommy Edman, into center field for a base hit. 8 in a row, picking up 9 outs recorded by Castillo since then.
You know, we began to talk a little bit at the very end of last inning when Castillo was on the mound about what his improvements and how he's gotten better from last year to this year. And the biggest thing that I can notice, and you look at the numbers and then inside the numbers, that his ground ball rate has gone up by 10%. And we've seen that in this ball game already. The last five have been retired. I think it's 6 now retired. 5 after Edman gets a ground ball, that'll be a base hit down the line.
I tell you what, that's pretty impressive hitting in his 2 trips to the plate tonight by Edman. Both times, those are 2-strike pitches. One he drops into center field, and that one he just serves down the third base line for a leadoff double.
You know, you really wonder why more players aren't able to do that, because you know when Luis Castillo has 2 strikes on you, you've got a 60% chance of seeing a changeup. And Edman has really bought into that scouting report, obviously, because both of his hits have been with 2 strikes, and both have been on changeups. But it's the ground ball rate for Castillo this year versus last year, up 10%, which has really made things easy for him. Now, that's the old Greg Maddux approach. You know, I want to get this hitter out in 3 pitches or less. Not, I want to strike him out. It doesn't matter how many pitches it takes me to do so.
Martinez trying to put down a bunt. Now, there's no way they're asking him to bunt. And this time he'll get the job done the old-fashioned way. Just hit that ball the other way and advance a runner down to third base. That's a good job by Martinez.
Well, it's a team at bat.
That's right.
And sometimes it doesn't, you know, a ball game doesn't warrant that. But when you've got 2 pitchers who are on top of their games, like Michaelis and Castillo, and you can get a runner at third base less than 2 against Castillo, you've got to be able to do that. In the middle of the order, you're bringing up Goldschmidt.
You know, the last start, Castillo, he had the back-to-back strikeouts and showed a lot of emotion ending that 6th inning. Remember, the Cubs had a runner at third with only 1 out.
Yes.
And he got a couple of strikeouts to get out of the inning. Well, he needs a strikeout here on Goldschmidt. Infield in, scoreless game. And he's ahead 0-2. Goldschmidt bounced into a double play his first time up on a ground ball that started with a shortstop. See if Castillo can put him away ahead 0-2. Try to get him a chase, and he does not. And got him swinging for the second out of the inning. So the infield will back up. We just blew him away. 98 miles per hour there on Goldschmidt.
You know, if there wasn't a radar gun reading right there, you would have a hard time believing that's 98 miles an hour, because if you're basing on what you're seeing, his delivery and the effort it seems that he puts into it, where does 98 come from?
High in the air on the very next pitch into left center field off the bat of O'Neill, and back there to get it is VanMeter to retire the side. Excellent work, per usual, by Luis Castillo.
It's 1 small step for man, 1 giant leap for mankind.
50th anniversary of stepping on the moon. Ohio's O'Neill Armstrong doing the honors. And believe it or not, on the way to the moon, the conversation was about baseball. Here's Michael Collins, one of the 3 astronauts in Apollo 11.
And the big news around Houston today concerns the Astros. In the sports world, the Houston Astros rallied in the ninth inning at Cincinnati to dump the Reds 7-4. Going into the ninth, however, things looked pretty bleak. The Astros were trailing 4-3. Then with one out, Jesus Alou stroked a single to the right field. John Edwards hit another single to right, and Sandy Valdespino hit a double to bring in the tying run. Julio Gauthier was walked, and Joe Morgan dropped a bunt for the game-winning play. A wild throw to the plate and allowed another run to score. Then a sacrifice fly by Dennis Menke brought in the final run. They really came through in the ninth.
Another game's in the National League.
The Astros really been catching those flies since they put a roof on the stadium.
That was Michael Collins there at the end. And Mission Control in Houston. A lot of Astros fans that they knew listening in would be Neil Armstrong, who was a major Reds fan.
Oh, yeah.
This day, unfortunately, the Astros got the Reds, as you heard.
Of course, Armstrong from Wapakoneta, Ohio. And, you know, after he resigned from NASA in 1971, many of you around here well aware that he taught in the Department of Aerospace Engineering at the University of Cincinnati. And Cincinnati was his home. That's where he passed. What an incredible day. July the 20th, 1969. Joey Votto leading things off here in the Cincinnati fourth inning. No score in the game. Each team with a couple of hits. Votto bounced into a double play his first time up. And a fastball misses inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a soft liner for the first out of the inning. Suarez, a single into right field his first time up. Yasiel Puig due up third in the inning. Breaking ball low and away. Balls, no strikes on Suarez. And pulled into left field. He has another base hit. 3-0 swing. And good enough to pick up the third Cincinnati hit of the night. Well, if a Red hits a home run, sooner or later it's going to happen off that Toyota sign in right center. Lori Capavilla from Westchester will win that Tundra thanks to your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Yasiel Puig, his first time up, struck out swinging against Michaelis.
You know, keep in mind that with Michaelis's pinpoint accuracy, that first pitch to Puig was simply not a message pitch, but a setup pitch. He's trying to get Puig off the plate so he can go down and away at some point in this at bat and go to his weakness. Challenges with a fastball, and that's one that Puig would like to have another shot at.
Told you the Cubs 6-5 winners earlier today. The Pirates in the fourth inning a 3-0 lead over Philadelphia. And Milwaukee again out at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona later tonight. 2-1 on Puig. All of a sudden, the San Francisco Giants are making just an extraordinary amount of noise. They finally had a winning streak of 7 in a row come to an end today. But, I mean, all of a sudden, they're a 500 team. And they're thinking about a wild card.
Sure they are. Trying to send Bruce Bochy out in style.
And all anybody's been talking about, Chris, is where Madison Bumgarner's going. He might not be going anywhere. Still 2-2 on Yasiel Puig with 1 on and 1 out. Scoreless game. We're at the bottom of the fourth inning. See if Puig can make some noise and get the Reds on the board. Both pitchers have been on top of their respective games so far tonight. Good eye there. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Puig.
Yeah, that first pitch that you remember, that fastball up and into Puig, that was the setup pitch for the one that he just threw. The slider down and away, missed his spot and could not get Puig to chase.
Three-2 on its way. And a hard hit ball, but right at the shortstop, and that's an easy double play. Hit it right on the screws. We go to the 5th. Nary a run so far tonight.
Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Ford. Go further. By Kroger. It's easy to place your order online and pick up at the store. Try it today at Kroger.com. And by Gilkey Window, family owned since 1978. July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. July 20th, 1976, this is Neil Armstrong who threw out the ceremonial first pitch at Riverfront Stadium. He did the honors to Johnny Bench. These are courtesy of our guy Cam Miller at the Reds Hall of Fame and the Armstrong family. We thank them. Johnny Bench caught it, and Bench signed that picture saying, "Neil, with respect and admiration," signed Johnny Bench. Even posed with Peter Edward on that day. And the ball that he signed, or threw, Johnny Bench signed for the Armstrong family, July 20th, 1976, signed Johnny Bench.
Neil Armstrong passed right here in Cincinnati on August the 25th, 2012 at 82 years young. Did his undergrad work, one of the great academic schools in the United States, engineering, Purdue University, and then went on to get a graduate degree at the University of Southern California. Fowler rolls over one. And he's out to start the St. Louis 5th in this scoreless game. I remember one of the things that I regret, and look, all of us in life, we have our regrets, but I remember I got a phone call from Neil Armstrong, one of his sons, when I first had a chance to move back to town in 2007. And he wanted to put together a golf outing with him and his dad and me and my dad. And I totally dropped the ball on it. And, man, wish I could do it all over again. I'm not a golfer, but to spend that day just going out and walking around, or riding around 18 holes with the Armstrongs, that would have been pretty cool. Dumb, 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 dumb. Dumb and Dumber. They made a movie about that.
I am speechless right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to his son.
I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Let me borrow one of your lines.
There were a lot of moving parts going on there with everybody's schedule because you're trying to do it in the summertime, and of course it's when the Reds are playing baseball, and my dad's working all the time, I'm working, so on and so forth. The Armstrongs have their things going on, so it wasn't just all of a sudden like one day, supposed to do it and blow it off, but it just didn't work out.
The only way that I can react to that, Tom.
That one will fall in, a broken bat single by Colton Long.
Is to borrow one of your lines, maybe your favorite line. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no question. There's no question about it.
Really?
And I know his son's probably watching the game right now.
Holy Moses.
Yeah. Well, there are a few others, too. But that's just it. Oh, well. Maybe one day down the road. We'll see. Hey, we were locked in on your guy today, by the way. Speaking of golf, how about that the fella from the University of Kentucky that you brought up last night? Well, that was fun watching him today.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right there in the hunt.
That whole out the Open is very interesting to watch, and it comes on early in the morning. That's the best part. Wake up, and there you have it.
DeYoung bounced out to the second baseman his first time up.
I'm not really sure. Castillo's very quick behind the plate. But you wonder if maybe the Cardinals with Wong, and he's got some speed down there at first base, whether they may try a little running game right here. Test Gratterall. When you're locked up in this kind of a ball game, sometimes you've got to make something happen.
I'm with you all the way. I am just stunned that in the first two pitches of this at bat, we have not seen Wong on the go. I mean, he's 14 out of 15 on the year. I mean, if either one of these pitchers, neither one is allowed a runner in a scoring position in this game.
Well, on the other hand, DeYoung has hit home runs against the Reds in 3 straight games. So maybe they're looking for a little magic.
Yep. And this is a magic double play. And that will end the inning. The Reds take on the Rockies and then stick around after the game on July the 26th for the big fireworks show and a concert featuring Zed. It's presented by the Ohio Lottery. Visit Reds.com for tickets /150. Great fireworks show after the game here last night. Of course, there were a lot of fireworks on the field in the game here last night. 12-11 final. But that is not the story here tonight. The pendulum has swung and zeroes in on that pitcher's mound. Who will, the old cliche, who blinks first, Michaelis or Castillo?
Yeah, you just get the feeling in a ball game like this, because there's not much running game on either of these ball clubs, that this game will rely on somebody making a mistake and hitting it out of the ballpark.
VanMeter singled his only time up.
Looking for his first home run as a Red. First major league home run.
That's right. Hit a bunch of them down at AAA Louisville this year, where he was having a monster year. He's got a good-looking swing, this guy. I know there are a lot of Reds fans that would be curious what kind of numbers VanMeter would put up if he had a chance to get some regular playing time. You look at the guys who, well, at least from the outfield, he's an infielder by trade, but, the Reds have, for a long time anyway, until Senzel came up, and the slow starts by Winker and by Schebler, who ultimately went back to the minor leagues. Puig started off so slowly. I mean, I think it's a pretty safe bet if a guy like VanMeter would have gotten the number of at-bats that a lot of the other guys have had, his numbers would look really good. Not necessarily Puig numbers, but they might look better than some of those others. Knocked down by Michaelis. He'll retrieve it. And just in time. 1 out.
VanMeter thought he had another one right there when it got by Michaelis. scrambled quickly, did Michaelis, to go get there. A lot of ground balls from both of these pitchers. Michaelis has rolled up 2 double play balls. Fields his position right there. He was struggling big time going into the break, Michaelis was. He was really in a funk the last 3 or 4 games. And then over the All-Star break, he said that he took the time to work through his pitching delivery to try to figure out what was wrong. And what he figured out was that he wanted to keep his head still and let his body move around his head rather than pulling his head and then pulling his body with it. And all of a sudden, the magic that he had last year was his first strike perfection, accuracy around the periphery of the strike zone, all came back to him. Because the Cardinals are relying on him big time here in the second half.
Line out by Peraza, and with 2 away, that brings Iglesias to the plate. No runs, 3 hits, 1 left for the Reds. Identical totals for St. Louis. On the ground is second, and Wong will throw out Iglesias. We're off to the 6th, still no score.
Here's our T-Mobile connection to the game. Former Red Mike Leake lost a perfect game in the 9th inning last night. It was a leadoff hit in the 9th, only hit he gave up. Astros hit 3 home runs on 4 pitches in a 4-3 win versus Texas. Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez doing the honors, and the Arizona Diamondbacks, the D-backs, Bally, hit their first natural cycle in team history. Dyson with a single, Marte a double, Escobar with a triple, and Walker with a home run.
Was that all in 1 inning?
Yes.
Okay.
Back to back
consecutively.
To back.
Okay. Wow. How about that? Because I was going to say they have had players hit for the cycle. That I know.
Of course, Bal.
Hey, pal. Won a lot of games. Talking yesterday about the Hall of Fame ceremony going on this weekend, and it's not taking anything away from those that are going in because it's a star-studded lineup, but hard to believe that Curt Schilling is not in that class this year. That is really, really hard to believe. Pulled foul by Matt Wieters. Mike Messina's going in.
Deservedly.
Yep, no question.
I don't think there's anybody in there that doesn't deserve it. Now,
No.
There are a number of players who I think deserve to be in who aren't in.
Yes.
I can't say that there are players that are in there that don't belong. I just wish that they'd open the doors a little bit bigger and let more in.
Well, the irony is that, the Veterans Committee this year putting in Harold Baines and Lee Smith, the writers, who are the only ones allowed to vote. No broadcasters vote. It's all sports writers that have covered baseball for X number of years. Some of them don't even cover baseball anymore, and they still vote. Rivera, Halladay, Martinez, and Messina all voted in this year by the writers. But, Joe Morgan would be the guy to talk to because he's front and center in the mix of all this, and he's been extremely frustrated. For a long time, there was a Veterans Committee that year after year after year would put players in. Then the players themselves, those in the Hall of Fame, became the Veterans Committee. That ball is killed by Wieters into right center field, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. Came on a 3-2 pitch and hit a 95-mile-per-hour fastball out of here.
Now that's the extent of a rally that Castillo has given up tonight. Everything else he's given up have been little bloop hits, and this one, no bloop about it.
And now Michaelis puts a charge into one. It's going to go all the way to the wall. The number 8 hitter with a home run, and the pitcher follows with a double.
And not only in following at bats, but in following pitches. Both fastballs will get ahead fastball to Michaelis, and he picks up his first double of the year. And now Derek Johnson. We'll take a look at what Castillo brings to the table. We talk a lot in the past about first time through the order, second time through the order, and then third time through the order for pitchers. And third time is normally when you start getting your bullpen going. But really not for Castillo. I mean, he is a guy that gives the bullpen most of the day off until he gets about to the 7th or the 8th inning. Second time through, the opposing batting average is less than 140. And now with Tommy Edman coming to the plate, we are looking now at third time through the order. I was going to say, with all the ground balls tonight that Castillo has produced, it's a really good game plan put together by Derek Johnson. You know, pitching coaching is part of it, helping David Bell decide who to bring in from the bullpen and so on. Working with guys on their mechanics is another part. But a big part for Derek Johnson is the game planning. Taking all the numbers and all the analytics together and then boiling it down so the pitcher can actually put it to use.
Edman a perfect 2 for 2 tonight. Single into center field in the first inning and a double down the left field line in the 4th inning. You know, anybody else, they would be bunting here. And I mean anybody else running, they more than likely would be bunting here, but not with the pitcher Michaelis out there at second base. Foul out of play.
It would be a lot easier for Michaelis to get the third if Edman could just hit a simple ground ball to the right side.
Just above the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Edman.
Edman, only 24 years old, raised in San Diego, went to Stanford.
And looped to the left. This is going to be caught by Iglesias. And the double play dog. What an incredible running grab. Turned in by Jose Iglesias. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, we haven't seen a defensive play in the outfield like that since Billy Hamilton. I mean, the speed running it down over his head, turning to try to get the double play right there. Oh, I didn't think he had a chance with that ball.
Peraza did everything he could to try and stretch as far as he could. Because that ball, you know, he's off balance. He's falling backwards. And just out of Peraza's reach. And Votto there to back it up. And 1 on Martinez, runner at second base with 1 out. What a play. What a play. 0-2 on Martinez, who has struck out swinging and bounced out to first base. 2-2 on Martinez. Runner out at second. And did he go? They appeal? No. So the count is full. Got a little too fine. And Martinez perhaps enticed but does not chase. First walk of the game given up by Castillo. So you go home run, double, spectacular play to take away a hit. Now a walk. And here's Goldschmidt, who's already bounced into a double play. And with a runner at third and one out in the fourth inning, Castillo struck him out.
Still a dangerous guy, though. I just don't feel comfortable when Goldschmidt comes up, regardless of how bad a year he's having. I mean, his bad year is a pretty good year for a lot of players. Hitting .250, driven in 44. He's taken 46 walks. But he is nowhere near on that slider down and away. That front shoulder of his pointing to Mount Adams when he takes that hack.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're headed in the right direction.
You would know that.
I'm not alone. 0-2. Struck him out swinging. Boy, he has just worked over Goldschmidt tonight. 4 strikeouts for Castillo.
Goldschmidt has yet to hit a ball hard in this series. He got a couple of hits last night, basically ground ball hits off of Tyler Mahle first couple of times up, and struck out 4 times in the Tanner Roark game.
Yeah, the 2 last night, one was a little roller, you remember, up the third baseline. The other one, he had a broken bat that barely made it into the outfield grass. 0-1 on Tyler O'Neill. Tapper down to third base, and the forced play will end the inning. But the home run by Wieters. First run of the game. As for your attention, Dish and Sling customers, as of Monday, you won't be able to watch the Reds any longer on Fox Sports Ohio. But there's still time to take action. You can call 1-866-FOX-FANS. Or visit keepmyhometeams.com to let Dish and Sling know that you want to keep all your favorite Fox Sports Ohio programming, including the Cincinnati Reds. You mentioned Mount Adams. I wasn't working last week. The king and queen of Mount Adams, husband and wife, lo these many years, like my second parents. Both celebrated birthdays last week. So a belated happy birthday to Pat Shepard and my main man, Eddie Shepard.
Indeed. Great people.
Oh, they're the best.
The king and queen of Mount Adams.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I would make you the prince.
No.
Well, maybe former prince.
The frog.
Well put.
But they are the best. Belated happy birthday to both. We love you. All right, here come the Redlegs. They have 8-9-1 coming up, and it looks like the night's over for Luis Castillo with the Reds down 1-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Castillo is sitting on 88 pitches. And yet, he's coming out of the game. Amir Garrett activated from the injured list before the game today. And we'll see him apparently in the 7th. Third baseman Edmond will throw out Graterol.
I mean, I can't help but think, as I watch this ball game and watch the baby blue uniforms of the Cardinals, you mentioned how they used to wear those all the time on the road back in the 80s, Whitey Herzog's team. And the way the balls are coming off the bat tonight, in so many ground balls, nowadays, as hitters are more and more trying to lift the ball into the air, this just seems like an old-fashioned baseball game here. The Reds have not hit one fly ball into the outfield yet tonight.
Here's Dietrich batting for Iglesias. You can only wonder, is something bothering Iglesias? It doesn't appear so in any form or fashion standing there. Castillo. With all of the bullpen use the Reds have had here of late, they sent 2 guys out who have been pitching seemingly every single day. Stevenson has worked a number of games now. You did activate Iglesias and Amir Garrett, but at 88 pitches in a 1-0 game. Castillo being lifted for a pinch hitter. It's a very hot night. Perhaps he's just out of steam. Maybe he told his manager that. We don't know, and I guess we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out after the game. Maybe not.
Well, they had a trying inning, but he finished it in fine fashion with a strikeout of Goldschmidt and then taking care of Tyler O'Neill on a nice, easy ground ball to third base. It's hard to speculate about that because we're not in the dugout. We don't know what's going on. We have no idea the conversation between Castillo and Derek Johnson.
Again, Dietrich is struck by a pitch. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is the 22nd time he's been hit by a pitch this year. Here's Winker, tying run on at first base.
22 times hit by pitch for Derek Dietrich. He led the league 4 years ago, when in Miami he had 24, but with 22 already, he'll blow right by that number.
So we showed you the 3rd time through the batting order, 1st time, 2nd time, 3rd time for Castillo. If you're wondering about Michaelis, he's had his greatest difficulty this year, the 2nd time through the order. 3rd time through, his ERA's right at 3.5. And he starts a 3rd time through the order right now, should be noted. Second time through the order tonight. He only allowed 1 base runner. And now a second with Dietrich batting in the 9 spot. I don't know, maybe we'll find out later that the Heat had something to do with it. I just would be very surprised if the Heat is the reason that Castillo's out of this game.
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up in the Dominican Republic, and he's been pitching his whole life in very hot weather. Granted, you know, on a certain kind of day, who knows? I mean, all of us have our energy levels, and maybe one day it affects us more than the same temperature and the same humidity that it might 3 days later. I don't know. But I would be it's hard to believe Castillo is bothered by the heat.
I don't know.
Who knows?
It's curious, and there's no reason speculating, I guess.
Yep. Two and two to Winker. And he's out of there, foul tipped into the mitt, and then slams his bat in frustration and snaps that thing down by the handle.
Well, he thought he had a pretty good bat going right there. He laid off a lot of those teaser fastballs up and then finally got one down right in his wheelhouse and just a little bit underneath it, ticked it right into the glove of Wieters.
Michaelis looks like he's barely working up a sweat out there. You just saw him take his hat off and use his forearms to wipe off the side of his brow. And there's a bouncing ball by Votto, and that's all for the Reds. We're off to the 7th. Amira Garrett for the first time since going on the IL coming in. Time to take a look at our Honda game summary. I mean, both pitchers on top of their game. Luis Castillo working on a 3-hit shutout through the front 5, and Michael is still working on a shutout, a 3-hit shutout. We wondered who might blink first, and it was Wieters, who drives one to the seats in right center field, leading off the 6th inning, and that's the only run for either team of the game. And Amir Garrett, who wound up not going out on a minor league assignment, and he says when we asked him, he's ready to go.
What better way is it to get your stuff worked out here than in AAA? You know, you can go there and do your thing and you're like, I'm good, and then come back up here and just get beat up, and you're like, dang, now you second guess yourself. But you know, might as well get it done here. You know, and you pick up, you know, where I left off, and you know, just gotta continue to do what I do and help my team win.
And of course, Amir Garrett, one of the snubs, and there are snubs every year in both the National League and the American League. He certainly has pitched well enough, and these numbers would back that up, to have been on the National League All-Star team.
Where he left off was July the 2nd when he pitched in his last ball game before the break and struck out the side. And had that slider working impeccably, and I think everybody was kind of surprised when he went on the injured list after that. No one had any idea that his arm was barking, but hopefully it feels a lot better now. The whole idea of a rehab assignment or a couple of times down there is just to kind of get your rhythm going so that you can take the mound with confidence.
It was the left lat strain. That's that muscle, you know, people who have muscles, you know what a lat is. It's that one that runs down the side, behind your shoulder and down the side of your...
Somewhere back there.
Yeah, somewhere back there. I've heard about it. But anyway, that was officially the reason he went on the injured list. Fowler with a 2-1 count.
There's the slider.
And there it is again to take care of Dexter Fowler. So far, so good for Mr. Garrett. Now the left-handed batting second baseman Colton Wong brings a bunt with him, and Garrett, a good athlete, quickly off the mound, and the underhand feed to Votto for out number 2.
Not a bad idea for Wong, really. I mean, a lefty versus Garrett up there who, Wong doesn't hit that slider very well. And if Garrett throws it where he needs to, I mean, Wong is going to be making it out. So you have the left-handed pitcher falling off towards the third base side. He normally opens up that right side of the infield for a bunt. But Garrett, as you said, I mean, cat-like quickness.
Former basketball player, of course, in college. So DeYoung, the batter, hit a pair of ground balls to the second baseman, the last of which turned into a double play. Pulled foul by DeYoung, and Garrett ahead now at 1-2 strikes. Reds will have 3, 4, 5 coming up in the bottom of the 7th. That'll be Suarez, Puig, and VanMeter. Final numbers on Castillo tonight: 6 innings, 5 hits and a run. Walked 1 batter, struck out 4. And there's a strikeout for Garrett. He retires his side 1, 2, 3 and looked mighty good doing it. That's a tight slider in his first game back. We'll get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And the matchups tomorrow with Reds Live getting underway at 12:30. Pair of right-handers, Flaherty for the Redbirds, DeSclafani for the Redlegs. Eugenio Suarez, the top 2 home run hitters on this Cincinnati team, back-to-back to start things here in the 7th in a 1-0 game. Suarez has 24, Puig 22, and Suarez already a perfect 2 for 2 in the game tonight. A couple of singles. Reds have Lucas Sims and Michael Lorenzen throwing in their bullpen. Suarez saw that was ball 4. Instead, it goes on a 3-1 pitch for strike 2.
I'm not sure how that can be strike 2.
That's a foul ball. Good effort there by Edman.
Well, they've got Edman right on the line.
Three balls, 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez, and Michaelis turns it loose. Ball 4 up and in. Suarez on base for the third straight time tonight.
Now, Michaelis is trying to duplicate what he did last time out when the Cardinals hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates. He threw a 8-hit shutout. He only struck out 3 in that ball game, did not walk a batter, and threw exactly 100 pitches. He's actually having an easier night of it tonight than then because the Pirates were able to get 8 hits. The Reds right now only 3. But Puig, VanMeter, and Peraza up for the runner on base.
Yasiel Puig, the batter. And it's ball 1. Puig has struck out swinging. He hit a laser right at the shortstop that turned into a double play his last time up. This one down the line, and that is foul.
Puig looks so much better at the plate. We've talked about how he's changed his setup and his step. He used to have a big high leg kick early in the year. It seemed like he was trying to hit every ball over the scoreboard. And now that left leg movement of his is very small, very under control. And his timing's been much better.
One ball and 1 strike on Yasiel Puig. And a bouncer foul.
Michaelis certainly is not pitching tonight like the pitcher in the major leagues with the worst road earned run average.
No.
At 7.4. Before he pitched that shutout against the Pirates, he had lost 7 of his previous 8 decisions. So here's a guy that found some kind of a secret during that All-Star break and making good use of it.
1-2 to Puig. Try to get him to chase a high fastball. A lot of teams have tried to get Yasiel to do that, some with success. One nothing. St. Louis in front on a home run leading off the 6th inning by Matt Wieters. And a missile into left center field. This will go all the way to the wall. Suarez on his way to third. They're going to wave him around. Here comes the throw. Not in time, and Puig has tied it up.
You know, Michaelis looking for a ground ball double play just like he got Puig last time with a pitch down in the zone. But Puig went right down there to get it, and you can see it just jump off his bat. I mean, that ball was against the wall in no time, and Suarez, he takes a look over his shoulder. He figures that J.R. House is going to send him, and he does.
All right, Chris, now this is where you get into the whole thing about, you know, old school, new school, you know, the whole 9 yards, the percentages, the success about putting down a bunt, getting a runner to third, as opposed to letting the guy swing away. You're in a 1-1 game. You have a runner at second who runs very well out there at second base. VanMeter, a guy who handles about, well, how good a bunter he is, we really don't know because we haven't seen him asked to bunt. Are you thinking about bunt here?
I'm not bunting here, no. I'm letting VanMeter show me whether he can give me a team at bat, which is get the ball to the right side. And he ought to be able to do that. I mean, he's a big league hitter.
Well, the Cardinals are not so convinced. They have the third baseman with both feet to step in on the grass just in case, but the first baseman is way back.
I think they do that basically, Tom, to just discourage the bunt. I mean, if you move him over into the shift, you're giving up an automatic bunt with a base hit. I don't think the Reds right now want to trade an out for a bunt and moving the runner over.
They have Peraza in the on-deck circle. And no sign of a bunt on the first pitch. It's a breaking ball, ball one.
The key for VanMeter is to get a pitch that he can pull.
VanMeter is single into center field his first time up, and he hit a hard one hopper that Michaelis knocked down. Ball trickled behind the mound, and Michaelis just able to throw it to first in time. And it's in the air! Who needs the stinking bunt? Are you kidding me? His first major league home run!
That's getting him over.
That it is. That's a team at bat.
That it is.
How about that? Congratulations to VanMeter. He knew it right away, and so did this crowd of nearly 39,000. I don't know what this is all about. There something going on over with the Cardinal bench here. Josh VanMeter, how about that? His first major league home run. And it breaks a 1-1 tie, and the Redlegs lead by 2 here in the last of the 7th inning. Still nobody out. And the batter is Peraza, who carried into this game a 7-game hit streak. He's 0 for 2, lined out his last time up. And the hit streak goes to 8 in a row for Peraza.
Boy, just like that, it has fallen completely apart for Miles Michaelis. Hangs a little breaking ball right there. Peraza punches it by the third baseman. And that will be the last pitch of the night that Michaelis will throw.
So we are Skyline called to the bullpen. That's all for Michaelis. Gives up home run with a man aboard to break a tie to VanMeter. 4 straight have reached against him to chase him into Fast AI powered by AWS. It might turn out to be the biggest play of the game.
Well, it's all about foot speed and how quickly Iglesias was able to close in on that little bloop pop-up that went into shallow left field. That was a huge play in this ball game. The sprint speed for Iglesias over 28 feet per second.
All right, so Ryan Helsley takes over on the mound for St. Louis. Peraza is very much a base-stealing threat over there at first base. I mean, he hadn't been on base, very often the first couple of months of the year. He has 5 steals. Bader is in the game, playing center field. And I assume that means he will bat in the number 9 spot as part of a double switch. Bader has pretty much lost his job as an everyday regular in the St. Louis outfield.
Yeah, there's rumors around St. Louis that they are thinking about optioning him down to Memphis to kind of help him get it back together again. He's got great athletic talent, runs very well. He's got plenty of power when he makes contact.
See the numbers for Helsley, his 8th game. Opponent batting average of 143 in 10 innings, has walked 5, but fanned 12. High fly ball. Starting to carry a little bit, but not enough to get out of here. And it's Bader who just came in that races over to make the catch, and alertly tagging up is Peraza.
Good play by Peraza.
That's a really good play. So often you see guys worried about getting over to third base if that ball were to fall in, or in Peraza's case, he could score on a ball like that. So they go halfway and they stand around. But by the time he realized the ball was going to be caught, he got back to the bag.
Well, the whole key right there is to read it as early as you can. If you know it's going to be caught, get back to the bag and then size it up again to see if you can get there on a sacrifice. Know who the outfielders are, what their arm strength is, which way they're running when they catch the ball. Do a lot of quick calculations and then go for it. Of course, Peraza's got good speed.
Here's Gratterall. He will bat with a runner at second, 1 out, 3 runs home. And you know, Chris, it'll always come back. I asked you the question, and you know, did you consider bunting VanMeter there? You did not think they would. Just throwing out the options there a moment ago. And naturally, when a guy hits one in the seats, you know, you're going to say, why would you ever bunt? There are certain situations and certain players that you're going to bunt there.
I think one reason that he's in the lineup is that the Reds want to see what he can do.
Yeah. What little we've seen of him, I am completely convinced that if he had the number of at-bats of 3/4 of the guys that have been playing regularly on his team, he would have better numbers than 3/4.
I like his swing.
You agree with that?
Really like his swing, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of guys getting a pile of at-bats. That it just hadn't come together. There's a pop-up in the short right, and Martinez will make the play for the second out of the inning. And now Scooter Gennett will come up and back. He's hitting for Garrett, who works a perfect inning in his first game back since prior to the All-Star break when he injured his left lat. Strikes out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. And Chris, I know you were impressed the way he looked tonight.
Oh, slider. Yeah, you said it as he was coming off the mound. That's the good old-fashioned tight Amir Garrett slider that we're used to seeing.
So remember now, the Reds, they activated Garrett and they activated Raisel Iglesias here tonight.
Well, maybe the Reds would like to get so many runs out there they wouldn't use their closer. You never know.
You never know. And you never know if it would be Lorenzen who got a chance to close it out anyway. And we've seen that a number of times already this year. And 1 on Scooter. And now it's 0-2. Michael is cruising along until a leadoff walk to Suarez here in the 7th inning. Puig did a double to tie it. A home run by VanMeter to make it 3-1. Peraza base hit, and that was all for Michaelis. And now Gennett trying to get Peraza in from second base.
I think you said the right thing, Tom, that the Cardinals, you know, Michaelis falling behind. Well, in this inning, every batter that they faced up until Scooter got up there, the Cardinals had fallen behind 6 consecutive plate appearances.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Scooter. Straight away center field, and this will end the inning. But damage done. Puig a double to tie it, and the first major league home run off the bat of Josh VanMeter. Check out the Redlegs in action. They'll take on the Colorado Rockies. The first 20,000 fans on the 27th will receive a Tony Perez bobblehead presented by Cons. Get your tickets today for as low as $12. Reds 3, Cardinals 1. We go to the 8th on a steamy night in Cincinnati. And taking over on the mound following Castillo, the pitcher of record to this point would be Amir Garrett, is Michael Lorenzen.
Well, he's got the bottom of the order to deal with, 8, 9, and 1 for Michael. Wieters, of course, the number 8 hitter, is the one that accounted for all the offense the Cardinals have had tonight with a home run.
And a long home run it was to the seats in deep right center field. Deepest part of right center field by Wieters, his 7th of the year. You have Bader due up next. He came over as part of the double switch. And then back to the top of the order we go in the St. Louis 8th inning for Edman. Lorenzen leads his bullpen in the number of innings pitched. So far to begin this second half of the year, he's pitched in 4 games, 3 innings, 3 hits, no runs. Boy, he has been a strike machine. He has only walked 3 batters total, going all the way back to the final week of May.
Yeah, that's one of the best qualities a back-end reliever can have, is throwing the ball over the plate.
And he has struck out Wieters to begin this 8th inning.
Lorenzen has really learned how to put some finger pressure on the baseball and get the ball to move, all the while keeping control. A lot of guys experiment with different pitches, and then they can get spin on the ball, but they can't really command those pitches. Well, Lorenzen's got a fastball that we've seen as high as 98. That little slider / slurvy slider coming in there in the mid-80s. A changeup like that. And when you've got 3 different pitches, all topped off by that big hard fastball, it's tough to get along with them.
Lorenzen doesn't make a big deal out of it anymore, but he has certainly, made it pretty clear in the past that all things being equal, and he's the ultimate team guy. I mean, there's no debate about that. But all things being equal, he would like to get another chance to be a starter. Mm-hmm. And look, you can never blame a guy for that. I mean, unless you're the closer, you're not making the big dough as a setup guy that potentially you could make as a very good starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. And let's face it, I mean, Lorenzen's got the body. He's got the stuff. Now, does he have the stamina? Not to go out and run, and that's not what I mean. But the other times that he has been in the starting rotation, there were some that felt like he wasn't holding up as well. But that was as a very, very young man.
Yeah, I think he's much more prepared now to make that jump if the Reds thought that was the right thing to do. Now, from his standpoint, the difference in money is immense between being a middle reliever and a frontline starting pitcher.
No doubt about it.
And you only work once every 5 days.
But he's become so valuable in this role where the Reds have him now. He's a primary right-handed setup guy in front of Iglesias. He's picked up 5 saves this year, so they've used him for that. And a rare walk to a guy hitting 200. Bader. So now the Cardinals go to the top of the order, and they bring the tying run to the plate. Edman has singled, doubled, And he was the one who hit that pop-up into short left field on the miraculous play turned in by Jose Iglesias. You know, Chris, all things being equal, would you consider, you're not going to do it this year more than likely because of, you know, where you are with your team, and you've got theoretically Alex Wood coming back and you want to see what he can do, and you know, you got Lucas Sims, perhaps see what he can do before all is said and done this year, and who knows what kind of moves the team is going to make up around the deadline. But do you consider giving Lorenzen one more shot at it?
Oh, absolutely. Not only one more shot. I've got to take a look at what the entire, you know. Oh, boy. How about that?
Fisted down the left field line. It stays fair. And all of a sudden, here come the Cardinals on a walk and a jam shot down the third base line.
Well, Tommy Edman again. He had 2 hits off Castillo, both off changeups, and hey, that's a fair ball, and it counts as the double. 3 hits on the night for Edman. And the Cardinals have only had 6 hits. There's half your offense right there.
All right, here's Martinez. He is 0 for 2, drew a walk his last time up. We know what kind of thunder this guy has in that bat. Strike 1. He has as much power as anybody in the league, and he loves hitting in this ballpark. A .411 batter, 6 home runs and 22 knocked in his last 15 games here at Great American Ballpark, including a massive home run here last night, part of that 10-run 6th inning.
Lorenzen pitching carefully, but remember he's got first base open right here. Now you do have Goldschmidt and O'Neill due up, and certainly don't want to give this at bat away right now on a 2-1 count. But there's no reason to have to feel like you've got to throw one down the middle just to get a strike.
This will bring in a run and advance a tying run on the third base, but it is the second out of the inning. So that makes it a 3-2 ball game on the ground ball from Martinez.
The walk comes around to score. It's a good job by Martinez to just put the ball in play. I mean, you know that Lorenzen's trying for a strikeout. And he kept teasing him outside, trying to get a strike or 2 on him, wouldn't do it, and finally just put the ball in play. So all right, can the Reds handle Goldschmidt one more time?
One more time is right. Here in the top of the 8th inning, you see the numbers for Goldschmidt in his career against Lorenzen, but all that matters is this confrontation here in the 8th inning with a tying run at third base, and it's in the air left field. And this will do it. Lorenzen able to take care of Goldschmidt. Cardinals get a run. Reds bat in the 8th in front by a run.
RB.
Immediately following tonight's game, as always, it's Reds Live. The post-game edition is brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. Most expanded Reds highlights on the planet. Clubhouse reaction and much more emanating from the Fox Sports Ohio condominium coming up here in Fox Sports Ohio.
So Winker to start things here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 1-run game after the Reds fell behind 1-0 on the Wieters home run in the 6th. They come back in the 7th and get 3 runs against the starter Michaelis. But the Cardinals get 1 off Lorenzen. Helsley came on and retired all 3 batters he faced in relief of Michaelis. Winker in the game tonight is 0 for 2, has walked and struck out twice. Once looking, once swinging. And this ball is driven hard into left field. And this ball will hit off the wall. Winker digging hard for second base, and he will go in there standing up with a double.
Well, the ball really jumping right now and jumping off the bat of Jesse Winker. This is his power stroke right here. Going down, out over the plate, driving it. He thought he had a home run right there by the way they came out of the batter's box. Yeah, it took Tyler O'Neill a long time to get back on that. But I don't know whether he misread it or he just was afraid of running into the wall. But it looked like it hung up there long enough, and O'Neill just did not get back there and give it much of an effort. So the Reds get a leadoff double and a chance to do a little add-on.
And this is a good sign because Nick Senzel's been out the last number of games after injuring a hamstring during the Cubs series. So with him being announced as a pinch runner, that certainly leads you to believe that that hamstring is feeling pretty good. He's been available off the bench. We'll see about tomorrow if he's back in that lineup. Reds need him. He has been a really good player. I mean, highly touted, granted, but he has been as advertised.
Better than advertised.
Let's see if Votto, even at the very minimum, if he doesn't knock him in, and that's what he's thinking about, can give the old team at bat and get the runner down to third base. But Votto thinking about knocking him in.
Say, we got a little equipment breakdown. By Matt Wieters.
All right, while we have a moment, here's a word from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky at Miami Valley Gaming.
Now, while the catcher's mitt is being repaired, Angel Hernandez, the home plate umpire, goes over to the dugout just to make sure that he's got the substitution in there correctly.
Say, I love the way that Angel comes trotting out there, though, getting right back in game action. I mean, a lot of guys be strolling and taking all day to get back in there, and he wants to keep this thing moving right along.
We all like that. Good hitting spot here for Votto.
And Votto will hit it hard. Just missed sneaking one into right center field, but he does advance a runner. So well done by Joey Votto. And the runner stands at third with only one out in the inning.
A good team at bat right here. 2-0 count. Figure he's getting a fastball. That's Helsley's game anyway. He's trying to power it in there.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if I have seen a pitching coach that comes to the mound more frequently in any series this year than we've seen in the first 3 games of this series by Mike Maddox. Of course, they don't have their veteran guy back there that, who handles things on his own most of the time in Yadier Molina.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, in essence...
Of course, it also counts when Molina goes to the mound.
It does.
Or when an infielder were to come in. Oh, you're getting down to the 8th inning if you've got a couple of trips to burn. Why not go out there and deliver the message?
Well, you have Suarez, the infield drawn in. Reds trying to tack on to this, add on to this one-run lead. Suarez has been on 3 times tonight. 2 singles, and then drew the walk from Michaelis to lead off the 7th inning. Scored the tying run on the double by Puig. One and 0 on Suarez. Oh boy, look out down there. Wow.
Yeah, that last pitch was 96 miles an hour. If you need any more proof that hitters can get used to high velocity, this should do it for you right here. I mean, he was way out ahead of that pitch. One of the better fastballs you'll see.
1 ball and 1 strike on Suarez. Two and 1. And now they're going to intentionally walk Suarez and take their chances with Yasiel Puig. But it's amazing, not only the pace of games when you get late in games when relievers come in, but frequently the number of strikes just seems to rapidly deteriorate.
Well, you're right, and the main reason is because you're bringing in power arms that have been instructed to get out there and throw it as hard as you can for as long as you can, and then we'll get somebody else in there.
I mean, it's just amazing. Michaelis and Castillo now, you know, Castillo among the best pitchers in the game, and Michaelis an all-star a year ago. That's fouled out of play, but I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
Well, this is the part of the game that's all about power. And unfortunately, it's made really middle relievers almost disposable. You come out there and you have them throw as hard as they can, and inevitably, if you do that for a few years, you're going to end up with a hurt arm, and they're going to bring somebody else up out of the minor leagues that throws 96, just like you did.
0-1 on Puig. Runners on the corners, 1 out. And now 0-2.
The good relievers, the ones that you want in a game in which you're winning, high leverage, late inning, those are the ones that have a combination of some good fastball and be able to control a breaking ball. Michael Lorenzen, great example.
Yeah, it's so rare. We brought up earlier for him to walk about it.
Yeah.
But that he did, and it came around, as you pointed out, to score. And now it's a 1-run game, and the Reds are trying to stretch the lead. Puig has fallen behind, 0-2. Well, he wanted that pitch. 99 miles per hour, just out of the strike zone. Got him swinging for the second out.
Now there's a pretty good slider right there, backing up 99 with an 88-mile-an-hour little cut slider going the other way.
Today's key performer brought to you by your Tri-State Buick GMC dealers. VanMeter getting a chance to start a game. David Bell wanted to do that tonight. VanMeter a single his first time up, and then his first major league home run to break a 1-1 tie comes in the 7th inning of Miles Michaelis. And now looking for a third hit and another run batted in. Well, I tell you what, Senzel doesn't skip a beat down there. If you notice, that throw from the catcher was a very lazy throw to the pitcher. And the pitcher had to come racing up all of a sudden, catch that ball before it hit the ground. And, I mean, Senzel was all over it. If that ball rolls by him, he's going to score. Those are the little things you really, and scouts will, that there is no metric that can pay attention to things like that. Because, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, maybe guys are turning around, they're looking at the bag, or looking down the left field line, or whatever it might be, and would never even notice if a ball all of a sudden was one hop to the pitcher.
Now, that's where you check the winning player box.
You got it. I mean, Senzel all over that. Senzel, the runner at third. Suarez steals second base. And he'll be credited with a stolen base there. That's his second of the year. So a pair of runners in scoring position. You have a base open and 2-1 to the left-handed batting VanMeter. Line drive caught. Hit that ball right on the nose. Boy, good swings again tonight for VanMeter. Cardinals tonight. 1-run game. Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Toyota. For all your Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by First Financial Bank, we put your success first. Learn more at bankatfirst.com, member FDIC. Well, Nick Senzel will stay in the game after pinch running a moment ago. And he'll play center field. VanMeter remains in left with Puig in right. Along the infield, it's Suarez, Iglesias, Peraza, and Votto. And it's still Michael Lorenzen trying to earn the save. David Bell electing not to use Raisel Iglesias here tonight. Lorenzen gave up 1 in the 8th inning. Iglesias has 17 saves. Lorenzen has 5. Tyler O'Neill to lead things off.
Good spot for O'Neill. We've been talking about that and how he's got great coverage on the inner part of the plate, not so great down and away.
Swing and a miss, and that's all for O'Neill. And you just said it, went down and away on him again.
Boy, those are 2 just unhittable sliders right here from Michael Lorenzen. That's actually more of a curveball right there. Look at the action on that pitch. Wow. Looks like a Sonny Gray curveball right there. And nothing wrong with that.
Swing and a miss by the pinch hitter Munoz. He's up there batting for the pitcher. That young man did a nice job, that Helsley, in the game here tonight. Goes 2 innings, allows a hit and no runs. And he throws hard.
Up to 99.
Struck out 1, walked the batter.
Those are the kind of performances that you make as a middle reliever when you're down, and that get oftentimes just completely forgotten. Unless you're, one of the coaches or evaluators, maybe a scout, an astute broadcaster like you.
Oh, yeah. Since I was the one that just brought it up.
That's a good point. Really good point.
Well, if nothing else, Chris, and we saw it, even in a reverse sort of way this week with Robert Stevenson being used with a team in front by a run. He had pitched enough good games to earn a spot like that. Now, it didn't work out for him. And we'll see where that goes the next time. But for a guy like the Cardinal right-hander, Helsley, that might be a step in the direction where he gets a ball with a 1-run lead rather than a 1-run deficit the next time. But a big pitch coming here, 3-1 on Munoz. In the air left field, and right there to get it, VanMeter. 1 out to go. Lorenzen looking for his 6th save. Trying to give the win to Amir Garrett in his first game back from the injured list. And here's Colton Wong. Nearly hit him with a fastball in. Lorenzen trying to go the final 2 frames in this one. In the air, left field, VanMeter will squeeze it tightly, and the Reds come away with a victory in Game 3, 3-2 the final. David Bell makes a decision to take out his starter, Castillo, 88 pitches in the game at the end of 6, and it comes out looking mighty good. And our Miller Lite hold true moment. The final out of the night. VanMeter, who had a huge night offensively, including the tie-breaking 2-run home run. And the Reds are 1-run winners here tonight. We'll be back with more in a moment.